Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the FPL Pubcast, where tonight we will be previewing game week. Oh, I'm getting lost with where we are. Game week 21, which obviously has a deadline of tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I apologise. I've cut my lip and it will not stop bleeding. So it's not like horribly bleeding, but you may see me wiping a tissue on my lip quite a bit. Darius will be joining us shortly. He's just running a tiny bit late. But also joining me is Trig and Kanji. Trig, how you doing, mate? Good game week for you, game week 20.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I'm a bit worried. I can't go for a run at the moment. My groin strain's back, so that's no good. But yeah, pretty much enjoyed this game week. Although it was a game of two halves, wasn't it? Saturday was rubbish, and the next day was really good. Or whenever it was. It wasn't even a Saturday.
Me, it was rubbish and rubbisher. Kanji, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to chat some FPL this week. Unfortunately, I had a roller coaster week. I got a green arrow, but we'll jump into it later on.
Yep. Darius, we are live, mate. How you doing?
I'm good. Well, yeah, it's been a weird day today, but yeah, that's why I'm late, because there's been so much news happening and my phone's been blowing up. I've been arguing with people about what has happened today. Yeah, crazy day.
Yeah, well, we've got a little discussion point in that later on the effects on FPL. But do you just want to give your brief thoughts, non-FPL wise, on obviously the sacking we're talking about here?
Yeah, I want to hear Darren Fletcher's press conference tomorrow. Honestly, I think you can guarantee we're going back to a back four system. That's for sure. Whether that makes us any better, I don't think it does. We've still got a midfield that's got a donut in the big fat middle of it, so I don't think that's going to change with Darren Fletcher taking over. And I think this is basically what I think. I can tell you what's happened. I can read between the lines. I reckon that what's happened on Friday, post the Wolves game, Wilcox has called in Ruben Amoirm for a meeting, basically said, you need to change your tactics. Ruben Amoirm's turned around and said, well, you bought me. I'm a 3-4-3 manager, and you haven't given me a midfield the entire time I've been here. In fact, you've only really given me three players, Le Mans, Cunha, and Mbumo. I'm not counting Dorgu because I don't think Dorgu's any good, and no one can argue that he's a first-team caliber player at the moment. And they've literally just sat there and been like, well, this is your lot. I was like, mate, I'd want to be sacked. Why would I not want to be sacked if you're not going to give me the tools to work with? I was trying to make this argument in the Perth Man United Supporters Club, right? I'm a teacher. Imagine me having to go in and teach an IT lesson and give me no computers. That's essentially what Man United have done with Ruben Amoirm. Like, that's the best analogy I can give. If you're employed to do your job, it's like a baker, right? A baker needs flour to make bread. It's like asking a baker to come into a shop and not buying the bloody flour and expecting him to make amazing loaves of bread. Like, you can make, like, they knew what they were getting. They ripped him out of Sporting midway through the season when he was having an amazing season, didn't buy him a player in January, so he ends up with this horrendous record, and then they buy him 3 players in the summer, and what do they expect? Like miracles?
Yeah, he probably wishes he stayed in Portugal now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he got a nice paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's enjoying the next 18 months, Kanji. I can tell you that much, and I will be as well.
Okay, so during the stream, we'll be doing what we usually do. We'll be going through how we got on last game week. We're going to talk about Rice, Gabriel, how essential we think they are. We're going to talk a bit about how Man United manager leaving may affect FPL, if it's going to affect FPL at all. We'll preview the game week, and then we'll have a look at how what we're planning to do for game week 21 transfers, etc. So before I do that, just say hello to people in the chat. I'm 1974, top punning Gary. Not sure what you mean by that, but nice one. Andrew, only 80 points behind Darius now. Only 80 points behind Darius. You must be 10 million in the world, Andrew. Is that right? Stephen is saying the stream was delayed while my nappy was being changed. Which of you three told him? Hi to Prod. Hi to Rob Taff. Hi to Michael. Paul, hello, mate. Beanie. Zari. Tomo. Omar. Claire. FPL Offside. Yeah, I think that's everyone. So yeah, please do like the stream, get out there and subscribe if you're new around here. So we obviously go through our teams in terms of who did the worst to who did the best. And unfortunately for me, it is me very much at the bottom of the pile this week. So 39 points, which is a fairly big red arrow of about 100,000 down to 238k. So I had Keller on 2, Hall 6, Timber 1, Anderson and Aqua, who both came off the bench for Vandenberg and Ekitike with 3 apiece. Stacker 4, Cunha 9, Kudos, my transfer injured. Foden 2, Szoboszlai 2, and then Haaland captain 4. So yeah, I mean, my transfer. I mean, to be honest, sometimes you just have bad game weeks, and there's things you can't control, right? The Kudos thing, right? Fair enough. But what really, really annoys me is, as I said on the lock-in on Saturday, I had the money to go Timber to Gabriel, and I just forgot to do it before I went to bed on Friday night. And by the time I'd woken up on Saturday, the move, I'd been priced out. I mean, it wouldn't have been a brilliant game week, even had I made that move. But it's, the rest of it, I fully can take on board. But when it's on, when you could have done it and you were planning to do it and you didn't do it and it cost you. So yeah, but I mean, on the plus side, I have sat down today and had a proper look through what I'm planning to do for the next couple of game weeks. So I'm feeling positive now. Now. Darius, go ahead, mate. What do you want to comment on my beautiful squad there?
Now, just for the benefit of the chat, I offered Gary this morning to do a favor. I said basically, he can send me the password for his account and I'll fix his team in a week. And he'll just take a big hit, and then he'll be sweet for the rest of the season. And he can probably cancel. I thought you said you were going to delete the account. No. I want to try and help you, Gary. I wanted, and basically, I offered to do his team for him, and I just said cancel your review subscription, and the D unit will help you. I'll give you one-to-one advice. You don't have to pay me £120 like Big Man Bakar. I'll do it for free for the love of the FPL and the love of the pubcast. But I didn't get a response, so. I don't know. Maybe Gary didn't like the idea that the D unit's coming behind him and he's getting a little bit nervous there.
You're still on mute from trying to wind me up all day yesterday, Darius. Kanji, you were a fellow buyer of Kudos, I do believe. I mean,
yes.
You can't make it up, can you? I mean,
yeah, no,
I've heard today he's going to be out.
Bro. This actually reminds me of like a situation last year. It'll only be for a niche amount of people that'll remember this, but a week before Everton had a double game week, at the time, I think Calvert-Lewin was at Everton. A week before, I went 1 week early and he got injured right before a double game week. And like this kind of feels very similar where it's like you have such a good run for Kudus, like 4 easy games. He should have easily at least got 1 return, at least 1 over 4 games. And now he's just like a transfer out after the injury. But that's FPL for you. So you got to take it on the chin. And, in order to win FPL, you need the luck as well. And like, this is one of those moments where you've been unlucky.
Trig, you've been saying I've had a lot of luck with injuries this season. And over the course of the season, you can't be lucky all the time, can you?
I think Kudos being injured is the best thing that could happen to the both of you because it saved you a number of blanks in the next 4 weeks. But like you said, Gary, it's made you sit down and actually have a look at your team. And now you can come up with some good plans. Where I think probably both of you only bought Kudos because really there weren't many options, were there, last week? I don't know about you, but I was looking for
not looking forward.
Yeah, I found it quite difficult. So he was like a kind of a default sort of one to go to, really, wasn't he? But I don't think your team's bad anyway, really. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Just didn't get any points.
And this would show that I don't always follow review. Review wants me to do nothing, but I'm taking a hit. I talked to Trig about it beforehand. He likes it. We'll get onto that later. No spoilers.
What did Gary just say? Just want to check.
I'm not doing what review says. I do tell you, Darius. I do have my own capable. Well, the main thing is I've got to get bloody Gabriel in before he goes up again. But anyway,
no, it wasn't the other bit, not the review bit. The bit after that. What did you say you were going to do?
Take a hit.
Oh my God, Trig! What's happened?
Season. So let's talk on someone who's more a fay with hits than me. Kanji. I think all 3 of you had a decent game week. Kanji 56 -4. looking at your rank, I'm guessing, is that another grey arrow, Kanji? 338?
Yeah, like the last 2 weeks, I've been from like 380k to 340k. It's just small greens. Like the arrows don't matter. The reason why I keep getting these grays is because I have a good team. I'm getting points, but I'm taking a hit every week. So it's just, it's like impacting my rank.
So let me just read for your team for anyone listening. Raya 1, Hall 6, Gabriel 9, Alderete 1, Sabozlai 2, Cunha 9, Saka 4, Foden 2, Kudos, as we just talked about, injured. Thiago, who's obviously been your biggest player this game week, was 17. Haaland 4. So, yeah, so what was the hit for, mate?
So the hit was for, oh my gosh, I don't even remember. Oh, I do. It was Nico O'Reilly out for Alderete, which...
I got it.
Which actually, in hindsight, is like such a dumb move now because like Vardiol is not injured. O'Reilly has like perfect minutes. And now I also had to do verts to Kudus. And I'm going to refer to a tweet by Tom Dollamore, and I want to read it out for the listeners. And it's like, a doubt over Declan Rice, 17 points. A doubt over Thiago's minutes away from home in a midweek game or 2 games in a week, 17 points. Saka expected to start, benched. Ekitike expected to play, not in the squad. A doubt over Verts' minutes, 10 points. And so you get like these moments where there's going to be these swings, and you can't really be too harsh on yourself, whether you're on the right side of them or the wrong side of them. This week, luckily for me, I had Thiago. But, for example, I could be annoyed at myself. Like when I did bring a Newcastle defender in, I should have gone to Chia instead of Lewis Hall. But I went to Hall because I thought he had more attacking upside. Look how that worked out. So it's one of those things where yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where you're going to have to look, and I look at my team, I think, all right, the Kudus thing is it's an injury thing now. I have to deal with it, and I just have to move forward. I don't want to be like annoyed at what happened. By the way, I sold Florian Wirtz for Kudus.
Oh.
So that was 10 points sold because I thought Wirtz was going to get like 60 minutes or not start because of a hamstring injury that was brought up midweek. But anyways, you can't win them all. I would have had a really nice stream, but it is what it is. I took points away from my team this week.
Yeah, it works out like that sometimes, doesn't it, Trig? Like sometimes I wish we didn't get these like bits of team news because you make transfers when you didn't need to, and then sometimes you don't make transfers when you did need to because you didn't get the information. Like me and Timber and Minton all that the other week.
Especially now when you can't even trust the information that's coming out. I mean, it's like Arteta started it. It looks like Slot's now doing the same thing with Wirtz. And now he's saying strange stuff about Ekitike. So you just can't trust any of it, really. That's
I think normally the stuff he can trust. Like I told you, Gary, I told you Minte wouldn't play. I was pretty adamant when I saw him go off, he's not playing because he looked cooked. And I think that's the one thing, like when you actually watch the games, you normally have a pretty good read. Like when Kudos went down, you were like, yeah, he's done. Like you could tell straight off the bat that he had done his fire. He was going to be coming off. Like that's the bit that gets missed. And like Herzl's one of those managers I don't trust for a bar of salt. Like he never tells you the truth. Someone will be fine and then they just won't even be in the squad. Like he's got a track record for it. Arteta's literally what Arteta says in press conferences. He's literally saying the opposite. He's actually very easy to read. When you realize that what Arteta says is a lie and it literally means the opposite, he's very easy to read. He's very consistent. He generally lies about players that are actually fit and makes you think they're not fit, but they actually are. In terms of Slot, yeah, I got stung by you as well, Kanji, because I believed when he said Wirtz, I was like, it's a tight turnaround. Gakpo's back, he's probably benched. And I reckon if Ekitike had been fit, he probably would have been benched, but he wasn't fit and he was playing instead. And I was unfortunate. I put him second on the bench because I took Slot historically hasn't been too bad. So I was like, all right, well, if he said that, I'm going to believe it. So that's on me.
Same.
But
but
I was like with Arteta, he doesn't tell the truth.
Exactly. And like there's so many big swings. For example, in the last minute of the Man City and Chelsea game, Enzo Fernandez gets the goal. I think Nico O'Reilly, who was like probably the highest owned Man City defender, at least in the engaged community. And he was on for full bonus, I believe, as well as the clean sheet. So he went from 9 points after that goal to 2. Like there were so many swings that happened. Like you could have been on one side of it or the other side, but you just have to think positively and move forward.
I did my live rank during that game, and just before they conceded, and just after, and I think I would have been down like an extra 50,000 places had they not lost that clean sheet. It's
That's
really
mad.
that tight, you know what I mean?
That's mad.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Trig's team. So Trig is on 57 points, up to 130k. Dubravka 1, Gabriel 9, Virgil 1, Tarkowski 2, Anderson 4, Cherky 4, Foden 2, Saka 4, Cunha 9, Haaland 4, Thiago 17. It's nice to finally see Cunha do something for us, wasn't it, Trig?
Yeah, I mean, we're expecting it. I mean, he's done okay for us, hasn't he, really? I mean, we got points off him like 3 or 4 weeks ago, didn't we? So he had a blank last week when a lot of people only brought him in last week and then they were complaining that he was useless. But I mean, players don't score every week. I mean, look at Thiago, 6 blanks in a row. Everyone's saying he's no good. Yet he's on 14 goals in 20 matches. So absolute fantastic pick. I'd argue he's the nearest thing there is to a seasoned keeper at the moment when he's outscored every single defender. There's only a couple of midfielders with more points than him and Haaland. And he'll soon be overtaking Haaland the way he's playing. So, yeah, really pleased with that because nearly everybody went to Ekitike, didn't they? But I held firm. And a lot of people use like 2 or 3 transfers to get Ekitike in. Now we're using 2 or 3 transfers to get him out because they stuffed up their structure. And at the time, I did warn that any injury to Ekitike would mean people would have wasted 4 or 5 transfers. And that's what's happened. So listen to the Trig and you'll get on the right track.
Yeah, we've got a discussion point about that later on. Basically, I'm going to vote if it was the worst transfer of the season so far. But Darius, you were saying in the group chat, I don't know if you were doing it as a joke or whatever, about selling Haaland. I mean, I'm guessing you're not, but he's not been very good, is he? I mean...
Oh, Gary, you have not watched my video today. I talked about this on my video for about 5 minutes.
Did you? So I've not watched it today, mate.
Yeah, no. I've so he's blanked to 6 of the last 9 game weeks. So 6 of the last 9 weeks, he's got 2 points. The other 3, he's got 13, 15, and 16. So when he does score, he's returning well. But when you consider, so the thing I look at it, right? So for me, it's not an issue. I'm quite happy taking on Haaland. If I don't think he's the best option, I've been doing it. And over the last few times I've done it, I've actually won. Not by much, but I've won. But I think what the problem is with Haaland, right? So majority of people that own him is still 70% owned or whatever it is. People own him and they look at how much he costs and go and subconsciously in their heads, they're like, I need to captain him. Like, because I'm spending this much money, I need to be captaining him because he's 15.1 million. In reality, the reality is very different. The dude is yet to win Player of the Week this season. There's been players every single week that have beaten him. If you get it right, and look, I've got it right on, I think out of the last 4 times I've done it, I've been drawn once, beaten him twice, and lost once. So he could definitely be taken on. I'm not sure about this week. To be honest, I was actually going to go a Man United player against Burnley, but after the sacking, I'm not sure if I'm overly keen on that anymore. So this week it is a bit interesting. He's actually got Man City have got an amazing record against Brighton at home as well. So you've got to be thinking that they've got a big performance in them sooner rather than later because they've been pretty poor the last couple of weeks. So that is obviously in the back of your head, and you can't keep blanking forever. But I did say also in there that Haaland normally gets injured around this time of the season. He starts off like a train on fire, goes cold, then gets an injury during winter, misses a month or 2, and then comes back and finishes the season strong. So maybe the injury's not far away. That's all I'm saying.
Will be interesting to see who we're captaining, or who we've all chosen the captain so far this week. So let's move on. Top of the pile is the unit. He's had a great week. He's up to 1.7 million, which I'm guessing is your highest rank of the season, Darius.
No, it's slightly off. 1.6 is the top, but we're close.
Okay, man. So for Bruggen with 7, Tarkowski 2, Gabriel 9, O'Reilly 2, Mukulele 4, Cunha 9, Wilson with 6, Rice obviously. There's so many streams. I know you did it as well today, Darius. I've called there because I did see your video come up. Rice baby. It's like I was going to use that last night. I thought, there's no way I can call the stream that because every single bloody podcast. Anyway, Rice is 17, Foden 2, Haaland captain 4, and Bowen 4. Yeah, talk us through it, man.
So, yeah, obviously it started really well. Saturday, I mean, Bar Streamlabs just having a wobbly on me or whatever it was all on Saturday. It was a good day. Like I have 4 players play, they all return. Gabriel with a goal, Rice with 2, DC for both Gabriel and Rice, DC for Bowen. Even that wasn't a disappointment compared to some of the other forwards out there, like Haaland. And then Bart Simpson had the day off filming from The Simpsons and got me a clean sheet and a bonus point. That felt very nice because I've been struggling for clean sheets for my goalies all season long. So that was good. Then we started Sunday like a house on fire. Cunha returning. I was like, oh, we're on here. And then late on the deadline stream, right, I was flipping and flopping between Wirtz and Wilson, who I was starting, who I was benching.
Oh,
and
he's
in
got
the
the
end,
bench, yeah.
Yeah, and then I ended up thinking, you know what? I'm going to start Wilson because I think Liverpool concede. They're really bad down the right-hand side. That's where Wilson plays. And sure enough, Wilson scored, and I was like, oh, I've called this perfectly. But then Wirtz got a very similar goal in the second half, and I was like, oh, crap. And then, because originally I was like, I worked it out. I was like going, if I don't really believe Liverpool are going to do very well against Fulham, I'm almost guaranteeing that Mukiele's going to get 4 points. So I'd rather take the guaranteed 4 points in the first bench spot if someone misses out than relying on Wirtz, who might be starting on the bench, because that was my understanding that what would happen. But he started and obviously scored, and then I obviously got it wrong. And to be honest, I'm not unhappy with it because still got Mukiele's 4 points, and I still think the reasoning behind it, based off the information that was available, was correct. It just turned out that I got that slightly wrong. But other than that, it was a pretty good week. Can't really complain. Chandler was 4 points on the end of the bench too. That was surprising. I thought City would smoke Chelsea. They were very poor. I thought City were very poor against a team that had no manager and pretty much passed the ball around like they were at a Sunday stroll in the second half. The most lackadaisical second half I've ever seen. But yeah, they rooted at the end because they shipped a really sloppy goal. Weird. But yeah, I was happy.
Kanji, I'll come to you. But be a lot of people wanting to sell Ekitike this week, including myself. Where would you put Bowen, and obviously going down to get money? Where would you put Bowen on the list of options to replace Ekitike?
Oh my God. Wow, that's tough. When you look at Thiago's fixtures, like they're not really that great. They have like Aston Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal, 3 of the next 6. So if I didn't own Thiago, I wouldn't move to Thiago. Like that's for sure. So it's about like what to do in that spot. So I guess Bowen is like the play from a differential perspective. But if I could keep Ekitike, I know he has Arsenal. If you can bench him this week and have him for Burnley and Bournemouth, I think that's the play, and just reassess the landscape when you get there. Like when you get to 24, like we're in a Cole Palmer and Bruno Fernandes waiting room. Like those will be your priority moves when you get there anyway.
When I was looking at review earlier, they've got Igor Jesus above Ekitike, above Thiago in terms of predicted points. And I looked at Jesus's record. He's got like 2 goals and 1 assist all season. Seems to.
Yeah, I feel a little bit underprepared to answer that question because I have no intention to sell Thiago for as long as he's fit. So
I think he's going to come in for me. Trig, any thoughts on Darius's teammate before we move on to some talking points?
Yeah, very good team, isn't it? He's got Chalobah there ready for the good fixtures already. Isn't burdened by having Guiu and Sanchez, so he can get 2 decent Chelsea assets in there.
No, I've got Sanchez, Trig. Trig, I was just going to ask you, is Sanchez going to play this midweek? Is he going to play?
Apparently he's back.
Does he come in?
He's not in danger of losing his spot, if that's what you mean.
That's what I wanted to know. Sorry, that's what I wanted. Yep.
Well, you never know. I mean, it's a new manager, but very unlikely.
Okay, let's move on.
To the other keeper.
Let's move on to the talking points. So the first one I've got here is, I always struggle to pronounce his name. Amoirm is sacked. So we talked about your thoughts earlier, Darius, from a Man United fan perspective. But their fixtures coming up. Burnley this week, then City, Arsenal, 2 difficult fixtures. Fulham, Spurs, West Ham. So I don't suppose we'll be rushing in, apart from maybe if Bruno is back this week or next week. But what thoughts do you broadly think as in United assets, mate?
I think they're all sells. I wouldn't even be buying Bruno back because Bruno's about to lose his DC because he's not going to be playing midfield anymore. So that's going to literally take away 2 points every single time. The only reason why he's been getting DC is because he's been playing in midfield. I can guarantee you, whoever they appoint is not going to be playing Bruno Fernandes in the midfield too. It's going to be Kobe Mainu. It's probably going to be one of Ugarte it can't be Ugarte. It's probably going to be Casemiro. It might be Jack Fletcher because Fletcher's going to be managing the team. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened either. And Yeah, I think it'll be good for Bruno because I think Bruno will get more attacking returns now, but he's going to. I think he's going to either be going back to 2 points or 1 point or bust, or he goes big. It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be the casual tick along anymore. I don't see him being in the midfield at all again this season without Amoirm. So that's the big key there. Defensively, I don't think they're going to improve because, again, the midfield is just missing quality. And you're not buying their assets for the next few fixtures. I mean, the Burnley fixture, if you've got anyone, you hold them. If you don't, just don't bother buying. And you know what? Until I actually think this season could go a bit like when they sacked Ollie and they brought in Ralph Ragnick, or a bit like last season when they sacked Den Haag and brought in Amoirm and the season's a write-off. I'm expecting Man United to really struggle against Burnley. I wouldn't even put it past Burnley beating us. And then they've got Brighton in the FA Cup. And if they lose that FA Cup game this weekend, the season will be a write-off. We'll be back down near 15th again by the end of the season, I reckon.
I thought they were bringing Fletcher in to the end of the season, or is he just caretaker?
Well, it's changing. The news is moving that fast at the moment. That's why I've been so busy just listening to it. So apparently there's rumors that he's only doing 1 or 2 games, and then they're appointing an interim, and then there's rumors that, and then I was like then there's talk that they're hoping for Oliver Glasner, and I was like, dude, they just sacked the back 3 manager. Why on earth would they go and buy another one when most fans weren't overly happy with the back 3 anyway? It seems a bit ludicrous. But then I thought about it. I was like, the owners have no interest in putting money into the club. Every bit of transfer fee that's happened has been borrowed against the club, taken out by loans. And essentially what I reckon they're doing is they're going to look at who's the cheapest option to buy in. Now, Glasner's out of contract at the end of the season. They wouldn't have to pay Crystal Palace a fee. Maybe that is the reason why Oliver Glasner's the favourite, because it ain't going to cost them a cent to bring him in. But you just don't know. Until, to be honest, if you're a Man United fan and you live in Manchester, get your pitchfork out, go to Old Trafford and start riding when the games are on and put them off, because that's the only way to fix the club. The club is broken until the Glazers, until Sir Jim, who bailed out the Glazers, piss off out of the club. The club will continue to be broken and just a circus act. And they can sit there and say what they want, but that's the nitty-gritty of it. The manager change means nothing. Unless the owners go, Man United will continue to be a basket case. And Chelsea, hate to say it, Trig, they're going a very similar way with the outlook on what they're trying to do with their club as well. All about making money, not actually about winning titles. That's long gone. That's for the Man Cities and the Liverpools and the Arsenals that actually are keen to win titles. We don't give a crap about winning titles. We just want to make money.
We'd do much better without that prick Maresca, and you should be happy to get rid of Amoirm too, because he's an absolute joke of a manager. He says he wanted to be a manager. Even worse, the more control you give him, the worse he would have got. I don't blame him for not wanting to spend money on his crackpot ideas, because he hasn't got a clue. Best thing you could do is get rid of Amoirm. You should have got rid of him years ago.
Did you know, Trig? Did you know?
He's been wanting to get the sack. He's been wanting to get the sack for the last year, begging for it, which is why he deliberately doesn't beat the likes of Wolves. He's desperate to get the sack. Absolutely.
Some fans want Maresca, Trig. Some Man United fans want Maresca. I was like, what world are they living in? Have they not seen what Maresca's done at Chelsea? He's been given £600 million worth of players, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Why would we want that incompetence in our club? We've just got rid of Amoirm. Last thing was Maresca. Then there's other people who want Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche has gone to Nottingham Forest, and they're going south. I was like, where do these fans? What do they watch football? Do they have a clue that Sean Dyche has gone to Nottingham Forest and Dyche Ball has taken him closer to 18th place than up the table, and they want him to come to Man United to instill some discipline? I was like, are you kidding me?
I'm surprised it's not Sam Allardyce or something being linked to the West Trig God. Kanji, have you got any thoughts from an FPL perspective? What do you think of what Darius was saying about Bruno?
I mean, unless you're considering a Manchester United differential like an Mbumo or a Acuna longer term or Dorgo or Delo, I don't think this makes any difference at all. I mean, Darius is probably right about Bruno maybe losing some DEFCONs along the way, but that'll be offset with him having higher XGI per 90 if he moves to the 10. If not, he just ticks along with DEFCONs and GA anyway. So I don't really think it impacts him unless the manager comes in and starts to take Bruno off early, because that will impact him. But apart from that, I don't think it changes a thing about what I think of Man United. And also, this is Man United's best season in a very long time. And I just don't understand why they're getting rid of the manager personally. I know they've dropped results, but they're sitting in 6th or 7th? Bro, the last like 3 or 4 seasons, they've been 10th or below. So I mean, they have improved, and now they've obviously bought Mbumo and Cunha, and that's the reason for it. You'd assume. I expected more, but yeah.
There's hardly any difference between the points. It might be theoretically in 5th, but like they're only probably about 3 points off, like 15th or something. They're not doing well at all. They've been rubbish. Right. So what was I talking about now? Oh yeah, that's right. If you've got Cunha, you keep him this week, kick him out. Watch for City and Arsenal match, and then you can decide what you want to do, because after they've been battered by those two, people might even not want to get Fernandes in. So it's just a wait and see, isn't it? There's no point, I think, making plans yet for it all. It's just a question of watching and waiting, and not taking out Saka, so that you can have the option to choose when the time arrives, rather than spreading all your midfielders on number 8s that are going through a bit of a temporary renaissance. So yeah, I reckon wait and see, basically. There's no need to panic about it all. Just keep Cunha, watch him score against Burnley, and then kick him out.
Okay, should we move on to the next talking point, which we've already touched upon, is Thiago, and of course Trig. I think, well, actually, no, I'll be fair, Trig and Kanji, we were both, me and Darius were very much on the Ekitike train, weren't we, 3 or 4 weeks ago? You two both stood firm with Thiago, which is obviously proven to be the better outcome. But moving forward, I mean, Darius, I'm going to say, and I know because I've obviously seen your slides, you're thinking strongly of bringing him in this week. So am I, with these fixtures that he's got coming up with Sunderland, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Villa, then Newcastle, Arsenal. I mean, yeah, what's your thoughts on him, Darius?
I cooked it up. The problem was I only got brought in Ekitike because I was getting the hair transplant done, and I had 2 hours before the deadline, and I was about to put local anesthetic in my head, and I was like, oh crap, what do I want to do? And I had the Bruno Fernandes problem, and I was like going, that was when I took the -12, and I was like, I've just got to do it. I didn't have time to think about it because the prices are rising, and I thought, you know what? If this goes pear-shaped, at least I'm going to make some money out of it. And that's all I can say about the transfers that I made in that -12. I made a lot of team value out of it. I haven't made a lot of points out of it, but I've made a lot of team value out of it. And to be honest, the Ekitike move, as Trig will rightly say in a minute, was a mistake. But I was like, the reason why I was like, I had to do it. If I didn't do it then, the money became a problem. So that's why I did it.
It's the only early transfer I've made all season. I did it like on a Monday. But Trig, tell us how wise you are, mate, for keeping him and Kanji. And I mean, for people who are selling Ekitike, is he the person we should be going to, assuming you're going down?
Yeah, I'll give you some detailed thoughts. Yeah, for me personally, I paid 6 million for him. So my situation is a lot different from yours. And this is partly why I kept him, because I knew if I sold him, he was going to cost a lot more to bring back in. So people that did buy him early sold him, and are now looking back to get him in. They've now got to pay 7 million for him, when originally they'd only paid 6 million for him. And so my situation is different from yours. So should you buy him now, it's slightly different, because you're going to have to pay 7 million for him, which is like 1 million more than I've paid. And you're going to have to decide whether he's worth it at 7 million. I mean, at 6 million, I'm absolutely convinced he's pretty much a season keeper at 6 million, because there are weeks ahead where I can bench him. You know, when they do have Arsenal, when they do have Liverpool, I can just bet, well, not maybe Liverpool, but Arsenal and other good teams. And I can just bench him for those games. So he's part of a rotation. And there's no one better. There's only like 2 decent strikers in the league, and he's one of them. So it's crazy. People say he's just a big lump, but he was pretty good. That hat-trick was a pretty good hat-trick. A lot of
goals.
Yeah, he could do. He's on 14 goals already. If he does the same, that puts him on 28 goals in the second half of the season, or 25 or whatever. So you're probably looking at another 10 goals at least from him this season, and it's for 6 million. It's perfect. What more do you want? I mean, like I said, you can say that defenders are doing better, but it's always different defenders every week. But no defender's got as many points as Thiago, not even Gabriel. So like he's the GOAT in that position. Him, Haaland, Rice and whoever in midfield, Fernandes probably, and Gabriel in defence. And to me, they're kind of the best in class. And but whether you should buy them or not, I don't know. It's 7 million, but there's not many other options at that price anyway. But he probably is the best. Maybe Sesko will come good at some point. I don't know. But Voltemada's dodgy. Visser might be an alternative. I don't really like Bowen. Or there's Watkins, of course. You've got to consider whether you might just want to switch to Watkins. Might be a good move for you guys.
Quite a bit more money. Quite a bit more.
No, he's less than but he's less than Ekitike.
True.
So you could just swap to Watkins and get Thiago back after his tougher fixtures in about 6 weeks' time. But when he might have dropped in price again by then. So yeah, if I didn't have him already, I would actually be looking at Watkins, I think.
Can I mention Mateta as an option as well? I know the fixtures don't look that great. There is going to be fixture congestion. They've lost Nketiah, so unless they're going to play some young striker, it's going to take minutes away. At least you've got another 80-plus minute asset that takes penalties, and they have like Burnley and Wolves in 26 and 27, and you can move back to Thiago after that. So if I didn't have, I think I'd either go to Thiago or I'd go to Mateta myself.
Wasn't his goal last week or this week his first in 8 or something ridiculous like that?
He's like a post-hype sleeper, right? He's like a sleeper pick. Like we all considered him originally, and we forgot about him because of the minutes and the rotation and all that. But maybe he'll come back into play for some managers.
Okay, that's where I was the next point. So I put the best 21 transfer in here, right? And this is a little bit of just a lead-in to a debate I've noticed. I've been quite quiet over the chat, our group chat over the weekend, but a debate I noticed you and Darius been having, Kanji and Darius been having, about who's the best option out of Rice. Obviously, the talk of the town at the moment, Rice baby, etc., and Saka. So is basically the talking point is Saka to Rice the best transfer in game week 21? Darius,
Darius, go ahead, bro.
You're going to say yes, I guess.
No, I just read a chat, a comment in the chat, and I just lost it. look, my admins in the group chat are in here, and they're just baiting each other with good bands. And Luke just said, "Second best admin, you'll never sing that." What are we talking about? Rice? Yeah, Rice, baby. Best. He's actually probably. I talked about this today as well in the video. He's probably close to the best asset in the game for the price that he costs, the points he's putting up, the consistency. Like, I can't name anything bad about him. Like, if you owned him from game week 1, literally he's been returning almost every single week from game week 1. He's been benched 1 week. He obviously missed game week 19. But outside of that, I think he's only blanked, in 3 games. Like, he's literally returned every single week with something, either DC, an assist. If you look at Saka and Rice, so Saka's cost now 10.2. Rice has gone back up to 7.2 because all the idiots that sold him bought him back in, which is not a surprise because they realized straight away they'd made a mistake. And that's okay. If you made a mistake, it's perfectly fine to take a hit and bring him back in, which is what I would be recommending if you haven't got him. But essentially, you're paying the same amount, 3 million less, for an asset that has scored the exact same amount of attacking contributions as Saka this year. And he's not on penalties. So Saka's taken, I think, 2 penalties in the league. I could be wrong. It might be 1. It might be 2. I'm not sure. But either way, they've both scored 4 goals. They've both got 7 assists. Rice smokes Saka for defensive contributions. Rice doesn't get benched. So, I mean, when you look at it and you break it down, there's no point spending an extra 3 million. Like, you literally, unless you're going to own both. And I think the big conversation is the 2 most must-own Arsenal assets are Rice followed by Gabriel, followed by it's either Timber or it's Saka. It's one of those two, and that's what you've got to make up your mind. Do you want the double Arsenal defense or do you want the double Arsenal attack? And which one you think will pay off better long term? That's the key question, I think.
Okay, so like with that said, do you mind flipping to the slide I sent you earlier, Gary? It goes hand in hand with this conversation. So I think one of the key questions, like if you have somebody like Raya, you're sitting there with Raya and Gabriel, you see that picture like on the top left of like people in the army and that person in like purple and yellow. That is Raya of all the Arsenal assets. And
you
like,
might want to explain what the slide is because it is going to be a bit difficult for people to see.
Honestly, like this is just me putting some thoughts together about like who the best third Arsenal asset is. And like I was looking at the comparison points. For me, I think Declan Rice, the best comparison point is Enzo Fernandez, and the best comparison point for Jurriën Timber is actually Daniel Munoz. So that's what I believe in FPL. Now I look at Raya as like that purple and yellow clown in terms of like the Arsenal assets, and the feeling that you would have if you're able to sell him is the picture on the right, which is exactly what I'm going to be feeling this week. And so the thing to consider is in 3 or 4 weeks time, Arsenal are going to be having a double game week. They're the most likely teams to have a double game week. And so you should be prioritizing having their best assets, what you believe are their 3 best assets. And Raya isn't included in that. So like, I'll be honest, if Arsenal have a double game week and the double game week on paper is supposed to be Brentford and Wolves, I'm going to captain Bukayo Saka. So Saka for me is going to be in. Gabriel's in. So for me, it comes down to Declan Rice and Jurriën Timber, right? And this is where it's like a very interesting conversation. Because if you look at it from Rice versus Enzo, right? So if you look at it from an XGI per 90 perspective, Enzo has double the amount of XGI per 90 as Declan Rice. And then if you look at their XA per 90, it's exactly the same. The XG is where the difference is coming from. So not only is Enzo doubling Declan Rice's stats, he has more of it coming from XG. That's basically a double green tick from Enzo's perspective. Then I know the argument that Andrew mentioned is like Rice is an XGI overperformer. So if you look at it, if you look at his goals per 90 and his assists per 90, Rice is at 0.4, even though his XGI per 90 is at 0.33. And you compare that to Enzo, where his goals and assists per 90 are at 0.4, but his XGI per 90 is at 0.62. So you're looking at someone in Enzo that's underperformed his XGI per 90 so far this season, and you're looking at the opposite side of it, where Rice has overperformed his XGI per 90, right? Then you want to factor in, okay, minutes. Both of them are great for minutes. Rice has an additional chance of getting DEFCONs. I'd say he gets 7 or DEFCONs or more. So that's going to give you 15 points over the season. So I think the picking between them is actually like much closer than I think people give Enzo the credit for. Maybe they're both just good picks. And then you look at Jurriën Timber, right? Where like I think his best comparison point is Daniel Munoz, and you look at the XGI per 90, like Munoz is comparable, but all of the XGI for Timber is XG. So once again, it's actually just better. And then you factor in that Timber has higher clean sheet odds on a weekly basis. So I genuinely just think Timber is like clear versus like Rice and Enzo feels more open for debate. But I'm look, I could be completely wrong. Like Rice could go on to win the player of the season, right? Like he can continue to just overperform and be the best player in the whole league. I could be so wrong about this, but I think for me, I'm leaning towards Timber. But it's nice to hear like Darius's opinion. Like I think Rice is a really good option too.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick poll, and then I'll ask you what you think, Trig. So I think we can all agree that Gabriel is the best asset. So the poll is going to be, who is the best Arsenal asset apart from Gabriel, Timber, Saka, Rice, someone else. So we'll see what the viewers think. Craig, what's your thoughts if we go back to Rice, Saka to Rice as a transfer?
Yeah, well, I'm not overthinking it. I mean, I've got Saka at the moment. When I feel the time is right, I'll probably swap them over. And that time will be if I need Palmer or need the money for anything else, then I'll make the swap. At the moment, I don't see them being better than the other one. I mean, obviously, at the moment, Rice has got the most points, but at any time, Saka could explode and get a 15-pointer or something, or 2 on the trot. Just don't know. So I'm quite happy just doing with what I've got and waiting and seeing what happens, basically. It's nice to have that money tied up in Saka. Although I think he went down last night, didn't he? But he's still a good asset. Could easily outscore Rice quite significantly in the next few, or the other way around. You just don't know. But I just like having the money there in terms of my structure, so I can just do an easy swap to Palmer in a couple of weeks if I want to. Like Kanji said, game week 24 is the important thing. I don't think there's any need to overthink it and get all wrapped up in all these stats and God knows what. Keep it simple. For my advice.
Yeah, my thoughts are: I've got Saka, and by the end of this game, I'm going to have Timber and Gabriel. But I'm gonna, when I get rid of Saka to get Palmer in, Rice is coming straight in as my third Arsenal asset. I think a long way ahead. I know. But anyway, lads, I'll come to you. Is there any? We've got the fixtures up here, obviously, for the next 6. Is there any other players? Because I didn't want to fill this slide up too much. You think any other players or teams you think are worth shouting out for the next 6 game week period, game week 21 to 26? Kanji, I'll come to you first. Anyone?
Just Chelsea, like making plans for Chelsea assets. Like that's where I think the points are. I think in terms of open play XG, they're in the top 3 in the league. I don't know if the stats have changed much, but they even have more XG than Man City, I think, in the game. So I think don't disrespect Chelsea attack.
Yeah. So we've got Fulham, Brentford, Crystal Palace, and then it gets really good. West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, and it keeps going decent in for. Darius, anyone you wanted to pick out, mate, or any teams?
Trig, how's your groin?
Oh, it's not good, mate. It's not good. I went for a run yesterday, got to the end of the street, and I had to walk back.
Have you got ice on it?
I put some on yesterday. I think I got frostbite.
Oh, no.
I had to be very careful, very careful. It's a bit dodgy, very sensitive area. I hope nothing drops off. I've got this brown stain on my inner thigh, and I think it was frostbite. It made my skin change colour because I had this ice block on it for 2 hours or something.
We just lost 50 viewers.
You've got to be careful. I know somebody who lost 3 fingers because they burnt their hand and put their hand in the freezer to cool it down, and they got frostbite, lost 3 fingers from doing that. Crazy. So you've got to be. I don't want to lose my middle finger. That would be a disaster, wouldn't it? If I lost that.
The chest champion will be done. I was going to ask you one other thing before I go into the assets. Enzo Fernandez, talk us about, because I felt like I was listening to Kanji talk about Enzo, and then I looked at Trig's face, and I was feeling everything that Trig was thinking about Enzo. So I just want to ask Trig's opinion about Enzo Fernandez being a Chelsea fan.
Well, he's a serial under-stat performer, so he is going to do that. It's not like he's suddenly going to swap with Rice and suddenly Enzo is going to be the one getting all it, because I don't think he is. He's always going to undercook it because he's just not very good at finishing normally. He gets a few goals like he got yesterday. Wasn't that like a third attempt or something now? It was like boing, 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 boing. And, he will do well over this period, I think. I mean, I might well get him because he's cheap. Everyone else is going to get him, and it might be a bit silly not getting him for this run because Neto was absolute nightmare. Was on about Neto yesterday, but he's actually the worst player on the pitch. I know he nearly got in positions where he could have scored, but he actually really stuffed up Chelsea's counter-attacks time after time, and we could have beaten City yesterday. But,
what do you think about Stabile yesterday? I thought his first half was pretty average, and then he was hooked at half time.
Not good. He only touched the ball 12 times, but they were making him play like a wing back on the right. So that's why that was, I think. But apparently the new managers are going to have to play him. So we'll see how he goes. But he doesn't like the winter either. He's suffering a bit, I think, being in England with winter. So, but when those good fixtures start, it's not to game week 24. So we're going to know a lot more by then, aren't we?
Yeah,
I mean, you could bring Palmer in early. If you're looking for a differential, you could take a risk on Palmer. He played 90 minutes, so it looks like his groin problems are behind him. It's my turn now. I've taken one for the team. I've taken on his one. So and ours is better, so he might be all right. But it can go any time. So he could re-injure himself. But in terms of assets, I think Villa are very interesting. And the good thing with Villa is they don't show up on the review sites much. So
They have
people
horrible
like
XG
Kanji,
stats. Yeah,
people like
don't get
Kanji
them.
don't realise how good he is, how good they are, so they ignore them.
We've
When
got a few
players like
reds in there.
Rogers probably one of the best assets in the game, and I think Watkins too. People are ignoring Watkins because the review and Solo won't tell you to go to Watkins because they've got all this thing about defenders and stuff.
Watkins is quite high on review now. It's like second or third strike.
Oh, is he?
Only
FPL's
last
wrong
couple of
for
days, though, they've
Um,
updated him a bit, yeah.
Like,
They've
by the
got
way, like
points in them.
Martinez is like the second best goalie in the game, and Rogers is like a top 10 midfielder. So
He should
but
be
when you look-
higher, I think, Rogers.
Yeah, when you look at them fixtures, they lie. Like the FDR is completely wrong for Aston Villa. Bournemouth is no longer a red fixture. That's clearly a green. I don't know why it takes them about half a season to update this. Like Bournemouth being a green fixture, they haven't won a game in like 10 game weeks, let alone being a red fixture. I don't know. But like, who does this? Like, do they just sit there twice a season and go, we're going to update it? Because like it's so outdated. It's not even funny.
I don't think they ever changed it from the start of the season, do they?
No, they have because Bournemouth wasn't a red at the beginning of the season. It was a grey. Nottingham Forest was a grey, but they're now a green fixture away from home when they travel away. So some things they've done, but like the Bournemouth one, they changed, and they should have changed it back about 10 weeks ago. They've been crap ever since the first 6 weeks. And then Newcastle's no longer a red fixture. Newcastle are crap. Like they shouldn't be a red fixture. Aston Villa will go there and smoke them pretty easily, I reckon. Yeah. I think the fixtures for Villa for around about the next 8-10 weeks are pretty good. So investing in them actually makes a lot of sense.
Any other ones you want to shout out, Darius, before we move to the next one?
No, just that. I was going to say Ollie Watkins did come into my line of thinking this week, but then until I didn't realize Ruben Amoirm was going to get the sack because I obviously was like, well, if I bring in Thiago, I've got plenty of money. Bruno Fernandes can come in for anyone. But now I'm like, I don't know if I want Bruno anymore because I don't think he's going to be playing centre midfield. And you know what? That was the other thing I wanted to say. So Bruno Fernandes 2 weeks ago came out and released a statement or did an interview in Portugal basically saying, doesn't feel loved by the club. The only reason why he stayed was Ruben Amoirm. Now they've just sacked Ruben Amoirm. Like, there is a world, and it does seem a little bit out there, but there is a world where Bruno Fernandes leaves during January somewhere else. Like, I know that Kanji's shaking his head, but you don't know what the Glazers are like, mate. If there's a chance to make some money and they can profit some money, I can guarantee you they will do it. And Bruno, if
they
he's
should have sold him for like 100
leave.
million last year if they wanted to sell him, like in the summer, like that. They were offered that, weren't they?
Yeah, but Ruben Amoirm implored Bruno to turn it down, and they said that it was Bruno's decision, and Bruno got convinced by Amoirm. Now Amoirm's been sacked. I don't know. I think if I was Bruno Fernandes, I'd be like, I'm sick of carrying this team, and I'd just be like, I'd do an Amoirm. Give me the money, give me the payday, get me the hell out of here. I wouldn't blame him at all. Like, I feel like he's given so much to United. He's literally been surrounded by idiots that are not even fit to clean his boots.
How old is he?
He's 31.
It's a bit young to be going to Saudi, isn't he now?
Not for £600,000 a week, Gary. It's not.
I know, but he seems like a competitive player. I think he'd want to remain in a competitive league. Personally,
After the World Cup, he might not, though.
Possibly in the summer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
move
That's
on
a good point.
to Darius's favourite slide. Darius, could we try just to get through without we can talk through this like normal people rather than slagging off all the bookmakers? It's just supposed to be an overall evaluation of the game week.
You know what Gary needs to do, folks? Gary needs to bring up, when I'm on the pubcast, he needs to bring up the previous week's odds so we can look how shit they were in comparison to what happened. Because they had Arsenal, what was it, Trig? 48, 50-something% clean sheet. They conceded twice. They thought that Man City were going to be the top scorers last week. Didn't even get more than a goal. Like, the odds are, like, I'm not even going to look at them. I'm just going to tell you, folks, don't look at them. They're shit. They're never correct. That's my thoughts on it.
50% means there's a 50% chance they won't keep a clean sheet, Darius, and they didn't, so it was kind of correct.
Right, let me summarise the odds.
There's a 99% chance of it not happening, and then the 1% it does.
Let me summarise the game week, and then I think what we really want to talk about here is captain with the Haaland situation. Although I reckon we're all going to end up on Haaland. So West Ham Forest is pretty much even. according to the odds. Crystal Palace, Villa, again, pretty much even. Villa slightly ahead. Bournemouth, Spurs, Bournemouth slight favourites. Brentford, Sunderland, Brentford favourites. Man City, Brighton, obviously Man City favourites there. Fulham, Chelsea, Chelsea slight favourites. Everton, Wolves, Everton favourites, but not massively. Burnley, Man United favourites. Newcastle, Leeds, Newcastle favourites. Arsenal, Liverpool. Arsenal quite firm favourites there. And the highest goals predicted this week is for Man City. They're the only ones predicted above 2 goals. And highest clean sheet is Everton, which will, I'm sure, satisfy Tarkowski owners. So, yeah, what I was going to say here is we talked about Haaland, anyone on. Is anyone here planning to go against Haaland for captaincy against Brighton? Kanji, I'll come to you first, mate.
Yeah, like last week, I actually really wanted to captain Saka. The problem that I had was I think it was away from home. I think that was the issue. Like I really like that Saka captaincy, and like to think about the XGI that Rice was getting, and to even consider like the way that that game went. I just, if Saka had played 90 minutes, I would have completely rewritten captaincy. Like I knew it. And the problem was Chelsea were not playing well. I think in the last 6 weeks before last week, they were the worst in terms of XGC in the entire league, I think. So I really wanted to go for Bukayo. And once again, he delivered against Bournemouth. Palmer delivered versus Bournemouth. Everyone's been eating versus Bournemouth. It would have been nice to have Kudus here. But regardless, like, captaincy wise, like you can see Man City are just clear of everyone else in terms of XG projected, and then Haaland is an XG overperformer. So like, yeah, there's no reason for me to go against for captaincy this week.
I think we're all going to end up saying that, and then I think we all said exactly the same thing last week. But Darius, captaincy, mate.
I haven't even got Haaland as the vice captain this week, so he'll see my team in a minute. But to be honest, this is probably the week that he returns. But I thought that last week against a managerless Chelsea, and to be honest, Brighton aren't in that bad a form. They're not actually conceding that many goals. They've actually looked pretty competent as a football team of late, and they do go in spurts, Brighton. And at the moment, they're in a form spurt where they're actually doing pretty well in most game weeks. So, look, the way City are playing, I wouldn't say they're going to score multiple goals. Like they've struggled to score multiple goals now against Sunderland, against Nottingham Forest, against Chelsea. Like they're not being free-flowing at the moment. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that Haaland's going into his normal winter funk. So, yes, I think you can take him on. I'm not going to lie. I think the bloke that's on screen at the moment is a far better captaincy shout than Haaland this week.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah, that's who my captaincy's on at the moment. Tarkowski.
Wow, okay. Well, they've got the highest clean sheet odds. Trig, how about yourself, mate? I would give my point. I think I'm going to go with Haaland.
Quite straightforward for me, Haaland. I don't see anyone else. I mean, you could take a punt on Acuna. Well, I mean, even if I was wanting to go against him, I wouldn't. I mean, Saka maybe, but there's nothing really even close, in my opinion. I mean, he probably will blank again, Haaland, but I mean, so will all the others probably. So, yeah.
I mean, the other highest predicted goals are Man United and Arsenal. They're both quite a bit behind, and you're not going to go with a Man United player this week, are you? You're probably not going to go with an Arsenal player versus Liverpool.
Well, you think United are going to bounce, though, like Chelsea did. I mean, I don't think Chelsea would have drawn with City if Maresca hadn't got the sack. We all thought it was like pile on City because they got no manager, but they probably did better than they would have done if Maresca had been there. But you might see the same at United. They might be glad to get rid of Amoirm.
Yeah, possibly. So before we get onto our teams, we'll have a look at our differentials. So for anyone who's not watched before, this is where all 6 of the regular Pubcast lads pick an under 5% player under 5% owned player every week, and then we keep a running total of how we're getting on. So this is one thing I did do decent at last week. Rutter, Jorginho got 8 points to lead me at the top of the league with 55. Andrew got Stack with 4 points. He's up to so small. Trig with Van Heck, who got 6 points, so he's in second.
8 points.
8
No
points,
wonder,
sorry.
no wonder I'm not winning this thing. Like, what points are being deducted?
Trig's in second. Nightmare's up to third with Stack with 4 points. Darius with a terrible pick with Trossard, just with 1 point, but he's in fourth. And then Kanji Hall 6 points. His brick keeps it, but he's still in fifth. And then Roberto, the Ghost. We're gonna have to ask him about his differential picks when he's on with Nightmare next week, Trig, aren't we? Because he's got another random one this week. Hudson Odoi with 0 points. So more interesting. Let's get on to our picks for game week 21. So I'll come to you, lads, as always, and ask you to justify your choices. So Trigger's gone Chow, Nightmare Sade, Roberto Aronson, D-Unit Casemiro. I'm going to come to D-Unit, I think, first. That's the most interesting one, I think. Hall is Kanji's pick, and I've gone from Collins of Brentford. Yeah, Casemiro, Darius. I guess we did this before the managing announcement, but it doesn't really matter that much, does it? I guess.
Nah, this is very. I was sitting there looking through and like, because obviously I went last because I went to sleep and then I woke up and I was like, all right, everyone's picked this, and I was like, who's left? Now I looked at the fixtures and I was like, going all right. Then I was like, and then I looked at it. I looked at Casemiro's points on the weekend, and he got bonus and he got the DC threshold, and I was like, going, you know what? He was very close to scoring against Leeds. Burnley, pretty woeful at defending set pieces. And Casemiro, if Bruno Fernandes is back, Bruno Fernandes has a habit of finding Casemiro's head off corners and off set pieces. And I was like, if he gets a goal, he's on track for a double-figure score. So my line of thinking is he's got a floor of 4 points minimum, because we don't have a midfield, so Casemiro will 100% play. He's ridiculously good for DC. He's racked it up 8 different times now this season from 17 starts. He's got 7 attacking returns. He's literally getting an attacking return almost once every other game. So he didn't get one against Leeds, so I reckon he's going to get one against Burnley. That's my line of thinking.
Luke's saying, yes, bro. Who's it said that? Someone said I've not gone for Sade, and I'll tell you why, because Nightmare had the first pick this week, and he got in there before him. He got in there before me, so I was like, straight away I was going to get in Sade. I'm back on my Sade, but so I've gone for Collins, 1.8%. Again, it was a pretty much probably based slightly on the fact he scored last week. You know, he's got decent XG, decent chance of a clean sheet against Sunderland, and unlike Van der Berg, who I have in my actual FPL team, he starts every week. Trig, you've gone for Chow, mate, who's obviously very much talked about this week after his 17-pointer last week.
Yeah, the strange thing is that some of these are actually under 5%, isn't it? You'd think it'd all be a lot higher, really. Collins and Sade and Hall. Very surprising that they're so lowly owned. Yeah, I mean, Chow's a lot of people regretting getting Hall, but I think really it's just because of what happened points-wise rather than their respective values. I mean, it could easily be Hall that gets the most points this week, couldn't it? But Chow's obviously pretty decent. 3 goals already this season, having scored like none in all his other clubs, or maybe 1. But yeah, pretty obvious one, really. He's not even a differential, is he, really? Not like Roberto's. And Frankie scored, didn't it? Did Aronson score? He did, didn't he?
Aronson's been returning a lot of late. He's scored and assisted.
I scored. I'll go and put him in.
It's a wave to Newcastle, though. It's the fixtures he chooses. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the player.
There's more chance of him returning this week, Gary, because Newcastle got very lucky that Crystal Palace had very poor finishes, because they would have definitely, if that was another team, Newcastle would have conceded on the weekend. They were just blessed that Crystal Palace rolled into town and they don't know how to finish half their chances. It must be infuriating for Glasner. They create all these amazing opportunities, like Will Hughes. How did he not score that chance? I've got no idea. It was played in. It was easier to score than miss it. He put it wide of the post.
We'll see how he does with Sesko in his attack. See if he does any better.
Even worse, Trig.
He's going to be super frustrated soon.
Kanji, you've gone for all, mate.
Yeah, of course. Never in doubt. I'm kind of doubting his minutes. Hopefully he starts. And yeah, he's returned. I think, what is that? Let's see. 4 DCs is what? Like, let's say 2 returns. So 2 returns plus 2 cleans plus 1 assist. So 5 returns and 9 starts. I mean, that's a good hit, right? With Leeds and Wolves coming up, he's going to be my differential for the next 2 weeks.
He's done all right since we brought him in, hasn't he? But I was so close to going Thiago, and now obviously regretting it with the 17.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Right, let's move on to our teams and transfers. So we'll start with Darius. Darius has got Sanchez away to Fulham, as well as Calabar. Gabriel at home to Liverpool. Tarkowski away to Wolves. O'Reilly at home to Brighton. Rice at home to Liverpool. Cunha away to Burnley. Foden at home to Brighton. Thiago at home to Sunderland. Haaland at home to Brighton, and Bowen at home to Nottingham Forest. And your captaincy, as you said, is on Tarkowski, and your vice is on Foden. You've got 1 free transfer, which you've got here as Ekitike to Thiago. Have you made that yet, mate? Or
Yep, made that because the changes will happen tonight. Thiago will go up to 7 mil. Ekitike will drop to 9. So
I'm just going to go on pad, but knows where you talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, so I was going to look. Well, Ekitike, if he dropped, then I'd lose 0.1 million in team value. And we all know that the D unit prioritizes team value more than anything else, rather than, I don't mind a hit. I'd rather have an extra 0.2 million to play with later on down the line on a wild card. So that was my line of thinking. I've actually made money on Thiago. So I bought Thiago very early as well, Trig. I bought him at 6.2 million and I sold him when he was at 7.2. So I sold him when he only cost me 6.6. So I've made the money back from Ekitike, from the Ekitike transfer, and I'm buying Thiago back, and I've lost no money on it. I've literally made the money and now I'm buying Thiago back, and I'm going to get the price rises from there. So it's some clever trading, not clever points wise, but it's been clever trading in terms of building the team value. I was originally going to play a back 5 and roll. So I was originally going to do Mukiele, O'Reilly, Tarkowski, Gabriel, and Chalobah. But then I watched that Spurs game against Sunderland, and I was like, Spurs really should have scored more in that first half against Sunderland. Sunderland definitely don't defend as well away from home. And then I thought about how good Brentford had been at home, and I thought it's a bit of a no-brainer just to bring him back. And also the fact that I was going to be benching Ekitike anyway. And I thought, you know what? If Thiago scores, then he's going to be getting way more points than Mukiele. So that's why I did the move. So if Brentford score, it's going to be a good transfer. If he doesn't, well, he's still going to be good long-term anyway. So it's neither here nor there. And I think that's it. I've got no interest of changing a forward again for a long time. Other than if I sell Haaland, it'll be Haaland to Watkins. That is the only transfer in the forward line I've got locked in. And I only do that if I think that I've seen enough and Haaland needs to go. But I'm thinking about it. And I feel like this is the moment last season where I thought to myself, Haaland's not doing the business, I might sell. And I feel like I'm starting to feel the exact same way I did about it last year. And once I had that feeling for 1 week, the next week I did it. So I tell you what, if he blanks again against Brighton, I'll be very strongly considering it, because I can do a lot of things with that money. I can turn Wilson straight into Palmer and then just forego like playing a front 3 and playing a 5 in the midfield every week, which has a lot of appeal. And also, over that run of fixtures for Chelsea, Palmer's probably going to be a better captaincy shout than Haaland anyway. So what am I really missing out on then? So I think that's where the thinking's going, if that makes sense.
Yep, makes sense to me.
Yeah. You ready to move on to the next team, lads? I can't remember who it is, to be honest. I think
You've
it's
got the wrong slide up, Gary.
Am I?
Oh, maybe you haven't actually. It's me.
No, you're probably looking at the other. So Trig's team, Trig has got 2 free transfers, 0.7 in the bank. Team is currently Sanchez away to Fulham, Gabriel at home to Liverpool, Lacroix at home to Aston Villa, Tarkowski at home to Wolves, Anderson away to West Ham, Kirky and Foden at home to Brighton, Saka, Vice at home to Liverpool, Cunha away to Burnley, Thiago, captain at home to Brighton, and Thiago at home to Sunderland. Looking pretty strong for this week, Drew.
Yeah, not bad. I think the only weak link is Lacroix this week. I don't expect a clean sheet there. Or I could play Anderson at home to Chelsea, but then again, there's probably no clean sheet there either. Or Virgil away at Arsenal, who probably will get
Yeah, you got the bench, yeah.
But but looking pretty good this week. I don't see any reason to make any transfers. I've got no injuries at all. 2 in the bank, so I'll have 3 transfers next week. I want to keep rolling all the way until 24, so I've got 5 transfers. And then I can do anything then. And that's the advantage of keeping Thiago. I haven't had to use all my transfers up and take hits. So it's looking pretty good, I think, really.
You're sitting quite pretty,
much wrong with it. Yeah, Turkey, I'm not sure about now. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to be so crap yesterday. But he was kind of at fault for the goal. Him and O'Reilly bit at fault there, I think. But Foden went off crying, didn't he? So I don't know what's happening there with him and having a breakdown on the pitch. And so I don't know if Turkey's going to start or not. But I probably should have avoided Man City midfielders. I wanted to get Rice, but that injury put me off, so I couldn't.
Foden's gone down once or twice now. Have you got any... Darius, have you got any...
He's on the chopping block.
I'm hoping people tell him. I'm hoping people like Trig run out of patience, because I'm telling you what, if there was anyone that was going to return yesterday, it wasn't Haaland, it was Phil Foden. He just didn't bring his finishing boots yesterday. In that first half, he ran rings around Chelsea into the box, and then he just stuffed the finish. He was definitely the one that I looked most of the game. I was like, his positioning, it's exactly the same as what it's been. It's just he does go through these patches where he'll have a couple of games like this, but then he'll go nuclear again. And then people are, oh my God, I need him back. And I think Trig said it himself. Sometimes you have to be a little bit patient. And I feel like Phil Foden is one of those picks that's worth being patient with. He's playing 90 minutes every week, so you know that he is going to return. It's just a matter of sticking through the rough ones.
I'm going to be patient until game week 24. The only move I might make before that is I'll be taking Virgil van Dijk out as soon as the Burnley match is finished. And that would be the end of him in my team. But other than that, I don't see me making any changes. With Anderson and Lacroix, they can hang about. If Gahey goes to City, I might relook at Lacroix, because I think Palace would be rubbish if he goes. So, but other than that, hopefully no injuries crop up. And then I can decide what I'm going to do with Saka. Turn him to Rice, turn Foden to Fernandes, and turn Turkey into Palmer. Quite probably. Something along those lines. I don't know who Cunha is going to be. That might be a transfer actually before game week 24. But maybe I should just do him to Fernandes. Probably the best bet, isn't it?
Yeah. So before we go on to Kanji's team, I've just closed that poll. Who is the best Arsenal asset aside from Gabriel? Rice 66, because I'm going to do a captaincy poll now. Rice 66%, Saka 21%, Timber 11%, someone else 2%. Surprised by that, Kanji?
No, because it's very recency bias. I mean, Rice just dropped 17 points, but that's what you expect. People are naturally have psychological bias. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there is.
Well,
might have something to do with the points totals as well, Kanji. I mean, Rice is smoking the lot of them pretty comfortably.
He's top midfielder, isn't he?
I put a poll on that.
Just for a while.
Just to mention someone we haven't mentioned tonight, Szoboszlai. I put a poll up on Twitter yesterday.
32-point Dom.
I asked people whether they thought Szoboszlai was a proper FPL asset or just like an aberration in the review. 87% thought he wasn't a FPL pick. Only 11% thought he was. Not that they're right. It doesn't mean they're right.
All the content creators.
The minority sometimes right.
Again.
But even some of them are taking him out this week.
Did you see the thing? So the Fantasy Football Hub had a video of a big man Bakar being interviewed by someone talking about how good dirty 2-point Dom was, and I shared it, right? And I said, Look at these idiots. The Fantasy Football Hub, why do people pay for this when they're literally recommending a bloke that's returned once in 10 weeks? And I was like, I can guarantee after this game week, I'll be 1-11. I can come back to this on Monday morning. And sure enough, Trig, what happened? 1-11, boys. 1-11.
Where Arsenal this week? Are you going to bench him? Oh, we'll see in a minute, I guess. Oh, he's not benching him.
Just sell him. Sell him. Why do you want 2 points? You can get someone else for 2 points.
I've put the captaincy part. I've put, let us know who you think. I was struggling for options. I put Haaland, Kanji, who's obviously away at Burnley. Tarkowski for Darius or someone else. So Kanji's team, Kanji's got 1 million, 3.2 in the bank. He has got Raya at home to Liverpool, Hall at home to Leeds, Gabriel at home to Liverpool, Alderete away to Brentford, Szoboszlai away to Arsenal, Cunha at home to Burnley, Saka Vice at home to Liverpool, Foden at home to Brighton, as well as Haaland captain, Kudos, who's obviously now yellow flagged, away to Burnley, who might even be orange or red flagged, Thiago at home to Sunderland, and as I said, Haaland captain at home to Brighton. Yeah, talk us through it, man.
I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I'm feeling a little bit cold in it. And you know what? With that being said, Cole Palmer, welcome back to the FPL squad. Kudus is gone. Cole Palmer has returned. Raya is gone for Robert Sanchez. And so now my midfield looks like Palmer, Foden. My midfield is Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Cunha, and Szoboszlai.
So that's my team. Tell us what transfers you made.
The transfers are Raya to Sanchez and Kudus to Palmer. -4. Oh. I've taken a hit for 3 weeks in a row, and my rank hasn't moved. So I'm just
-8 and get rid of dirty 2-point dom and bring in Declan Rice and get your third Arsenal asset. It'd be worth a hit, mate. I'm telling you, it's worth a hit to do that. You'll actually.
Well, I'm muting Darius. I can't be bothered.
I'm just tired of that. But like in a few weeks' time, like let's see how Szoboszlai does in Burnley and Bournemouth in a few weeks. Like I'm not going to be completely closed-minded. I like the player. Like, I couldn't give a shit about what review thinks. So like I'm going to wait like 2 or 3 weeks, reassess. But the most important thing to emphasize with this move is I'm tired of taking hits. And so like I'm tired of these injuries, but I know that the best way to flex on someone else, to have a better team than them when you have better team value, is to have an additional premium midfielder in your squad. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm happy to do that.
Those moves.
I know. And so now, with that being said, I've opened up the third Arsenal spot. I'm very open to move to anyone. Like it could be Cunha to Rice next week. It could be Cunha to Enzo, and that opens up money for Timber. Like I'm very open, but I feel very content moving to Palmer, and hopefully he ends up getting some good minutes over this run. And the best thing about it, I don't know if you have that slide, Gary, that shows the Chelsea fixtures coming up. So if you look at the Chelsea fixtures,
what you sent me.
Yes. If you look at the Chelsea fixtures over the next few weeks, I don't know where the hauls are going to come, but I know the hauls are coming. As long as Palmer plays, the points are going to be here. And so I think people that don't own Palmer from 24 are absolute idiots. Or sorry, I shouldn't swear. I think people that don't own Palmer are fools. And so I'm happy to go early.
Fixes out for us, for anyone listening?
Sure. So Fulham away, Brentford at home, Crystal Palace away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds at home, Burnley at home. Now, keep in mind, Chelsea will have Champions League games in the middle of this. Minutes will definitely be managed. There's no doubt in my mind. But first green flag was last week, 90 minutes. And so I was like, I have the money for this move. Let me just do it. I've also brought Robert Sanchez in as well. Sanchez didn't play, but there was news from this McKillen or something. And he said that Sanchez had a small muscle issue and he's expected back on Wednesday. So I was like, you know what, let me go ahead. Worst case scenario, Dubravka does play, and Man United have not been good anyways. So it's looking all right. And to be fair, the best Chelsea fixtures are the ones coming up in the future, not this exact Fulham entry point. But yeah, that's the way that my team looks.
Craig, you're the Chelsea man.
Yeah, no, good move. Maybe. It's a bit of a gamble, but there's nothing wrong with that. At least he's got points in him. I might be joining Kanji next week and doing Cunha to Rice, I think. That sounds like a reasonable move.
I'm planning that in a few weeks as well, yeah.
Yeah, might be sensible. We're about the same price, aren't they? Nice, easy swap from one to the other.
It gives you like a slight bit amount of money to upgrade Foden to Bruno as well in a few weeks.
So you've done this for a hit, haven't you? So it's probably won't pay off straight away, but might do eventually.
You know what's
And,
funny? I've thought that with every transfer I've made. But like, let's say for example, like Lewis Hall, like I took the hit for him. He matched the 4 points. Now he's got me 6 last week. Like the same thing could happen with Palmer. Like he could just tick along, give me maybe DEFCONs, maybe a clean sheet point, anything really. And then maybe in the future weeks he'll deliver. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah. And if you didn't, I mean, kudos, you'd have Anderson coming in who's probably going to get nothing.
I'll get
You've got
3.
to take that into consideration as well. Yeah, so as long as Palmer outscores
7,
yeah.
but that's like a short-term perspective. Like if
and
I
then
want
I'm saying
return,
you'll play off in a week. Could play off in a week. Could play off in a week.
Yeah.
And Sanchit's probably more likely to keep a clean sheet than Rao this game week.
at least you know Kudos isn't going to outscore him this week. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. That's the positive side of it, right? And you know, people will argue Palmer may not even start, right? Because it's a midweek game, and then there's only 3 days rest or something to the next game, and that's a good point. But there is a cup game after, so I would assume he would get rested in the cup and played in the Premier League. But who knows?
Good comment there from Dan. I'll bring up we'll have any comments today. Trig's groin's in better shape than Palmer's.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bet on it.
You'll see there's a lot of like Chelsea fans that will give you like negativity about Palmer, whether it's his form, whether it's I don't know what people are gonna say. Like maybe they watch the games and he's not cooking like he's usually cooking, Palmer. And I would say like I never doubt the quality of the player. Like I always just doubt the minutes. Now, of course, there's a new variable in the coaching, and let's see what happens with the system. But happy to be there early. Points will come. Hope they stay fit.
Darius, you're saying in the chat there, I see that you're not a fan of. Sorry, Trig?
It's been a long time though since he was a good FPL asset. You've
That's
got to go way back to the start of last season, really. Before he was terrible. Like remember how we all brought him in and he was blanking against Ipswich and all of those sort of teams and
missing penalties and all this.
Yeah, so there is a bit of
season as well
about him still. I thought you would have gone for Enzo. You could have done
Well,
kudos to Enzo
be honest,
for free.
To be honest, the easy moves now are like Szoboszlai to Enzo after Szoboszlai has Burnley and Bournemouth, and then Cunha just becomes Rice next week, and that gives you money for Bruno. So I get everything I want basically.
So Kanji, you raised a really good point about the Szoboszlai and the Burnley pick, right? So I obviously have Ekitike, right? And I don't mean to go back there again, but it has to be said. So I looked at the Ekitike thing and I was like, the fixtures for Liverpool outside of the Burnley fixture, for what in terms of purposes, I think crap. And Liverpool
Bournemouth is bad as well, to be fair. So
yeah, but I know, but like, look at Liverpool the last 3 games. They've played probably 3 of the easiest teams in the league. They've really struggled to beat Wolves at home. They didn't score a goal against. No, did they score a goal? No, they didn't score a goal against Leeds. Yeah, I've got that right. Didn't score against Leeds. Woeful. They went to Fulham, and to be honest with you, I don't rate Fulham. We all know that the D unit does not rate Fulham, and Liverpool couldn't even beat them. So, like, they've played 3 of the bottom, what I think will be the bottom 6 teams, and they've got 1 win. Like, holding for Burnley, and let's rewind the clock back a little bit. Liverpool required a dubious 96-minute penalty that was gifted by VAR to beat Burnley the first time around. There's no given that they're going to steamroll Burnley at home. I think, like, I understand. Like, that's why I sat there because I was like going, you know what? Do I just hold Ekitike for that and just bench him? I was like going, you know what? They probably do nothing against Burnley as well. They've literally been a trap the entire season, Liverpool. And to be honest, they're not showing any form. They're not showing any signs they're going to turn it around. So for me, I'm like going, that's why I said, if I was you, I'd just take him on and say, bid him off. Like, he's not going to do anything.
Not Szoboszlai. Like, I think Ekitike is different because, like, you're spending a lot of money. He also has 0 routes to points. Like, as you mentioned, we had a Penley versus Burnley. So if we got one this time, that'd probably be a 10-pointer for Szoboszlai by itself. So, like, this is the thing. Like, he's cheap enough. I'm going to hold. And then if I have to move him, I'll move him. Like, it's fine.
I think Slot's one of the favourites to get the sack next, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like
I think he could well be the next one that goes.
Okay, moving on to my
team. Or something, he could be gone.
It could be, yeah. especially after one team moves, it sort of puts pressure on the other teams to start evaluating it, doesn't it? So I am 2 free transfers, 0 in the bank. I've got Kelleher at home to Sunderland. Vandenberg, I've currently got him in the team, but he's obviously not been playing, at home to Sunderland as well. Timber at home to Liverpool. Hall at home to Leeds. Szoboszlai away at Arsenal. Kudos, yellow flagged, of course, away to Bournemouth. Cunha away to Burnley. Foden at home to Brighton. Saka at home to Liverpool. Ekitike away to Arsenal, obviously also yellow flagged. And then Haaland, currently my captain, at home to Brighton. And then Anderson and Lacroix are the playing players on the bench. So I sat down this afternoon, lads, and I had a detailed look at my team on a spreadsheet, which I haven't done for a while. I think I'm not going to blame the Christmas period on my performance, but the fact I've not actually had time to sit around and think about stuff. I did it properly today. So I've already planned my moves. I don't move early. I could make these moves tonight and probably save 0.5 million, but I don't because I like waiting late. But my planned moves are going to be Ekitike to Thiago, Kudos to Tavernier, and then Vandenberg to Gabriel. Gets rid of Vandenberg, who's not playing, gets rid of my 2 yellow flag players, and gives me double Arsenal defence. Now, the only downside in that, it doesn't give me a way to get to Rice, but I'm fairly sure in 2-3 game weeks, I'm either going to want to get on Palmer or Bruno if Darius's prediction is wrong and he doesn't become crap with the new manager. And that will open up our Arsenal slot where I can then get Cunha or Szoboszlai or even Foden if he's still performing terribly out for Rice. What do you think, lads? I mean, Trig's already told me off stream his thoughts, but Darius, tell us your thoughts. And obviously that would be a -4.
So you got 2 free transfers, right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty simple what you need to do on your team. Sell Ekitike, sell Szoboszlai, sell Kudos. Bring in Rice, bring in your pick of a forward, really. You could bring in an Ollie Watkins, you could bring in a Thiago, you could bring in a Jared Bowen. I don't mind any of those 3 actually for the long term and the short term. They've all got pretty good fixtures. They've all got upsides. It's just a matter of which one you like the most, really, and which one you believe in the most that I'd recommend. And then, Kudos to Rice seems like an absolute no-brainer. And then Szoboszlai to literally any asset that will score 2 points because that's essentially what he does. And probably, so for example, lots of people sat there and thought about bringing in Wilson, right? Wilson smokes Szoboszlai as a pick because he's a form player. He's in form. He's literally got the most goal contributions outside of penalties behind Haaland this season. And no one's talking about him in the same light as this stupid, dirty
but then I'm not getting Gabriel in for another week. I don't completely dislike your logic, but then Gabriel goes another week. He's going up.
I forgot about him.
Gabriel for me, he's much more of a priority than Rice. Because Rice,
I agree.
Switch any of them to Rice at some point. You know what I mean?
I would get rid of Ekitike still. I'd get rid of Kudos still for Rice, and I'd move Timber to Gabriel.
Yeah, but I like the Arsenal double up after this week at the back. Kanji, what do you reckon to my moves there, mate? And what do you think of Tavernier? What do you think of Tavernier as a pick?
Oh man, that's basically the talking point, really. Because Ekitike to Thiago makes sense, and then Vandenberg to Gabriel makes sense. But Kudus to I don't even know how you figured out Tavernier. I think his XGI per 90 is around 0.35. I was looking at him a few weeks ago.
He gets Defcons, not consistently, but he gets them the odd time as well.
I'm sure Bournemouth will replace Semenyo when he leaves. I don't think his X minutes are going to rise, but I think he's already been starting pretty much every game anyway, right? So not like Semenyo leaving impacts his minutes. I actually have to research the pick. I don't know. I've been so focused on Enzo because of his XGI per 90 is ridiculous. Taking Enzo is 0.6 more, and he's doubling the stats. It's just something to consider. But if you have to go down because you want your Arsenal picks, and I'm emphasizing this because it's the same thing I should be saying to myself. You need to sacrifice to make sure you're getting the 3 Arsenal picks that you believe in. And if you think that Timber, Gabriel, and Saka is the 3, go for it. I'm all for
Big obsession with Arsenal. I've never had more than 2 Arsenal all season.
Well, yeah, well, they're going to win the league. I asked you guys 2 weeks ago.
They win the league or not. It doesn't mean I'm forced to buy 3 of their players.
Yeah, I'm with Trig. I've got no interest in actually
what
owning
do you
a third.
mean? Like Timber is like one of the best defenders in the entire game. He has 8 clean sheets and 6 GA in like 16 games. Like he has 14 returns in 16 games. 14 returns in 17. Something like that for Timber. Gabriel is probably the same for hit rate.
He's not worth the money.
These picks are elite.
Not worth the money. So you can buy. For example, you can get like
anyway. We're only having 2. So.
Yeah, you can get like Tarkowski for like what is it? Timber's 6.3. Yeah.
They're not the only ones that score. I mean, they're good. They are good, but they're not the only ones that score points. There are alternatives. It's like this obsession everyone has with Arsenal. And we all know they're going to choke in a few weeks.
Craig, I'll come to you, mate. The only other thing I consider, I could get rid of Lacroix instead of Vandenberg.
I think Vandenberg will start this week.
Do you reckon? I don't know. Why has he not been starting?
I think he's been dropped, but he'll still play this week, I think, because of rotation.
Okay, but that's
we
not
probably should get rid of him, actually, I think, because our fixtures are getting bad as well, aren't they, Kanji?
Yeah, they're going to turn bad, and then they get good later. Like you're going to have to look to bench him. And even when he has good fixtures, that's when Anderson has his good fixtures. So
you could save Lacroix for when you want to change into Shalabar or somebody like that in a few weeks.
I mean, I'm gonna be massive. I'm gonna have loads of money in defense. That's the other thing I like about it. I'm gonna have Anderson, and Darius is rightly banged on about me and Kanji having a good bench. I'll have Anderson and Hall basically bench most weeks, or Lacroix. You know what I mean? That means if players miss out or whatever, or if I need to dip in and get rid of one of them and put them down to Mukalele or something, I can take money out of there as well. Do you know what I mean?
I do think, though, starting Szoboszlai and Tavernier is a bit of a stretch. You only want one of them, not 2.
I'll bench Szoboszlai for
your team's enough.
I'll bench Szoboszlai if I bring those guys in.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say surely, yeah.
I mean, I'd even play Anderson over him this week. Even if
do you regret bringing him in, Gary?
Sort of, but not as much as I regret bringing in Kudos because he's injured, so he's not a priority. He's definitely going to survive Burnley, and then I'll reassess. Thing is, I haven't got the money because I'm going to still be pretty much. So when I want to bring Rice in, it's going to have to be Cunha that goes or Foden because I'm not going to have the money to go to Szoboszlai to Rice. Kanji, I can see you're desperate to talk there, mate.
No, just the Kudus point. It just breaks my heart. It's so annoying.
Yeah. I mean, he was very good for Roberto at the start of the season. Roberto had him when he was on that lovely little run, which brings me on to the plugs. So, thank you everyone for joining. So please do join. Kanji, can you make it this Saturday, mate?
Yes.
Oh no, sorry, you're not on this Saturday.
No, isn't it? Wait, hold on. The next one, I thought where you sent the schedule, it was
Saturday, sorry, mate. Yeah. So please, I've seen a few people in the chat today say they've never seen this guy, Roberto. Sorry, Kanji, that was my fault, mate. So
I was just looking at the schedule.
I think we need a wild FA Cup lock-in.
It is. So this week on the lock-in, it's going to be a early thoughts discussion with the Ghost. I should have had my sound effect ready. Roberto and Trig and Darius. So we'll basically have a look. I think we'll use that to because I was saying to Trig before we started and Kanji, with so many game weeks recently, I think just a chance to sit back and discuss what's gone on over Christmas and sort of the lay of the land. Do you know what I mean? Will be an interesting discussion. And then the podcast will be back to the normal time next Wednesday at 6:00, where we'll preview game week 22. And we'll be joined again by, I've got the sound effect now, the Ghost, Roberto. Getting back into sort of a normal schedule again that we usually do of Wednesday podcast, Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'll end that poll quickly for the best captain. And we have got Where has the poll gone? We've got Haaland 73%, someone else 13%, Tarkowski 8%, Cunha 6%. Any shocks there, lads? I don't really think so, is there?
Nope.
I'm surprised Tarkowski's 8%. That's your cult.
They just conceded 4 goals against Brentford, so I don't know.
It's just putting people off Trig. So then the maximum points can be made from the people that are maverick enough to back him in after conceding 4.
This is why I'm not worried.
He was very close to scoring in that game. He had one cleared off the line.
He nearly had 2 goals.
It's coming. It's coming. The 17 pointer's coming. I'm here for it. See,
chat and the D unit mob. This is why I'm not worried about Darius Catchme. He has one good game week, and he played a blinder. That's not have it any other way. But he's gone back again. Dallo 2 game weeks ago. He's back to the normal Darius, and it's this behaviour that's gonna keep him probably at the bottom of the podcast.
One of them's going to come in at some point, and it's going to be biblical. And I'll be like, holy shit, I've just made 20 points on Gary or just captaincy this week. And it's going to be, and I'll be like, Gary, I'm literally down your ass. Not down your ass, but I'm sniffing over your shoulder. Dodge shit, I'm digging a hole here. But you get the point.
Anyway, where can we find you, lads? Des, I'll come to you first. Are you doing watch-alongs? Is it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday games?
Yeah, Touchwood Streamlabs will be right. I mean, I've been watching the video quality here and it's been fine on your stream. So again, I think maybe it's just sorted itself out. It has been stupidly hot here in Cal. I don't know if that's got something to do with it and it's affecting the satellite dish or whatever, which it might be because it's been 44, 43, 42. So it's been hot.
Wow.
You pay for that as well, don't you? If it's not working, they should give you a...
Yeah, I'm not happy about it. But I don't know if it's Starlink because I feel like when I was at Mum's, she's on the broadband network there, so that shouldn't have be a problem. And it cut me out there as well. But that was on Streamlabs, and that was a Streamlabs issue that night. So I don't know if Streamlabs are having a wobbly and the people have gone on holiday and they haven't come back and there's an issue there. That's all I can put it down to because for the love of me, it's never been a problem before. And then I came back home and it's been a problem. So something's off, but I'm not sure what it is.
Well, I look forward to
kangaroo eating your cable or something.
I look forward to
yesterday, I flew over where Darius lives, and it's like about 2 hours before you even reach the next town on a plane almost. It's just like brownie coloured red desert, isn't it? Like for 1,000 miles or something. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yeah, Trig, you pretty much nailed it on the head. I mean, it's literally slap bang in the middle of nowhere, it's in the middle of WA, like inland. 6 hours drive from Perth. It's another 12 or so to Adelaide. But it's like the richest place on earth. Pound for pound, there's that much gold in the earth out here. If you've got patience enough and you've got a big enough shovel, you'd be able to make yourself $1 million pretty quickly, I reckon.
That's the town where all the New Zealanders go to. They're all like on hundreds of thousands a year driving trucks down to the goldfield.
They're in all the school streets. You're in New Zealand, you got all the bloody Maoris.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be...
There, you realise how big it is. It's just absolutely... It's probably bigger than Europe, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I looked up on the map when I was trying to figure out the time zones. I thought Darius was just so annoying, the Australian government thought, let's stick him in a little thing hundreds of miles from anywhere else. Someone commented on Saturday, they went, it's nice to see Darius, who probably gets hit in every single pub he ever goes
But ironically, I'm actually the life of the party when I go to a pub. I've never been in a fight my entire life. Like, I've just got really good banter, but I do it in a way in real life.
Wait till you meet me, mate. Wait till you come to England next time.
I'll be like, don't know him.
Greg, you plan to make a lot of videos over the next couple of days, maybe all the footy coming up?
Yeah, maybe one more before the deadline. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm not making any transfers, but I'll be still doing them every day or two. Nothing else to do. Then we've got a break, haven't we? 7, is it like a week and a half off?
Yeah, well, I think the deadline will be the weekend after this one, won't it? Friday or
Oh,
Saturday.
Weird, going to be weird, isn't it? All that big long wait to watch Liverpool lose to Burnley. All the hype, week and a half of hype about Szoboszlai and Ekitike.
We don't get any much hype for him on this bloody channel. We just get bloody constant stuff. Kanji, where can we find you, mate? And
you can find me.
How's your uni prep going? Have you sorted out a house yet? And that I'm sure the views will.
I actually have not yet, and I start in 15 days, so I need to figure that out over the next 3 or 4. And yeah, so I gotta like move to a different city, gotta move all my clothes, everything. Like I need to, oh man, there's so much to do. But yeah, this has been really nice moving into the next life phase, and like having the FPL lock-in over the last few weeks has actually been really fun. And yeah, like the next time I'm coming on will be like 10 days, maybe 15 days from now. So it's just nice to just take a break from content and just relax and chill out.
Good. It didn't work out that way. We've given you a week and a week or two off to sort your real life out.
Exactly. Actually, it's nice.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Do remember the deadline is it 6 tomorrow or 6:30? I think it's 6, isn't it? Whatever. It's
Normally
6 or 6:30 tomorrow.
That'd be 6:30, surely.
It normally is. I'll have a quick look.
I wonder if we'll get any leaks of that
8 p.m.
Everton
game. 8 p.m. game tomorrow. 8 p.m. game.
So 6:30, yeah, 6:30 then. Have a good game week, everyone. We'll see you on Saturday for the FPL lock-in. Cheers.
See ya. Good luck.
Cheers, people.
Yeah.